On the 26th of December, I was out photographing watercolor shots in really deep snow. I was over in the Wilderness Park and by myself, of course, as I go off on my own a lot. And I got done taking pictures after hiking around in the really cold for 2.5 hours and went to Culver's to have lunch, and I called my little daughter-in-law and said, "What are you guys doing? Why don't you come and have lunch with me?" So I'd ordered and I went over to get a drink, and bang, next thing I remember, I mean, I have no warning when I had these.
So I was asked to come and take a look at her, and I noticed that she was having a lot of ventricular fibrillation and ventricular tachycardia, which was very, very abnormal.
I didn't get a great heart, and I had been told that before, and it just doesn't push the blood into my head. And I do have a really odd series of beats before I would have one of these.
And it turns out that she has probably a congenital condition called idiopathic ventricular fibrillation and possibly even non-compaction of her ventricle. So these conditions lead her to have ventricular arrhythmias, which can be fatal.
My mom thought I had had a couple when I was in high school, but I don't remember when I have them. Sometimes if they happen to happen in bed, I have no way of knowing I'd had.
I think people weren't really thinking about any cardiac conditions associated with this. And it happens so rarely that it's really hard to make a diagnosis in these situations.
And the next second, no warning, no light, no auras. I didn't have any feeling that you'd notice in your chest. I guess the event is where I lose consciousness. I usually find myself just on the ground. I've never had an incident when I drove, which is amazing. I just have pretty much taken my life back. And I gotta tell you, the happiest day of my life, or one of them, was when I'd had the defibrillator put in at New Year's Eve night.
Because she was so happy to finally have a diagnosis and have a therapy that made her feel better. We put her on an antiarrhythmic drug, and within a couple of days, her arrhythmia completely disappeared and she felt absolutely great.
I am the happiest person in the world. I said, "We finally know." I said, "You know how long this has been?"
So if she goes into this rhythm, which can be potentially fatal to her, this device will actually try to pace her out of a bad rhythm, and if it can't, it will give her a shock.
And I do know one thing, that I know it's going to hurt when it goes off, and it's worth every minute of it, because it's a really good possibility as I age that one of these times I wasn't going to wake up. The ablation is where you go in and you actually, the way I understand it, is you actually kill some of the little electrical impulses that makes my heart not beat correctly.
I elected to send her to the Mayo Clinic, where they have a lot of experience with this particular disease. So she had to lie on the table and kind of stay awake, and they had to induce the ventricular fibrillation and find the focus where the ventricular fibrillation was coming from and ablate it. An interesting story about Linda is that when she went to the Mayo Clinic, they took her off of the antiarrhythmic drug in preparation for her ablative procedure. And what happened is, the night before, she went into the emergency room off of the antiarrhythmic drugs, and she got shocked 82 times by her defibrillator. So it just kind of shows you how well the drugs were working, and how, perhaps if she didn't have that defibrillator, I think that her disease was rapidly advancing.
I have gotten to be more brazen as I trust my monitor much better. I know what it will do, and I do some pretty exciting things.
So it just goes to show you how, in the face of adversity, when you finally figure out how somebody is suffering, that we can really make a difference and make them feel better. It's really rewarding.
And I don't know of a single family that hasn't been touched, whether it's a bypass or whatever, but the heart research, like what I benefited from, wasn't here 10 years ago. I was in Mayo at 2000 and they didn't have it. So the Heart Association is that organization that puts it out there and makes it available to just regular people like us. It's amazing. And I'm going to be active in the Heart Association from here on out.